Hello, everyone. Well, it's that time of year again. It's that time of year. It is Heavenly Mother's Day. Heavenly Mother's Day is today, and I I say namaste to all the mothers out there on Heavenly Mother's Day. Heavenly Mother's Day is the Wednesday before Earthly Mother's Day, which is celebration of all Earth Mothers. All the Earth Mothers get celebrated on Earthly Mother's Day. That's the Sunday. That's Mother's Day. And then that's Earthly Mother's Day. And then Heavenly Mother's Day is the Wednesday before. So this is the beginning of the Festival of the Mother. Don't you just love the Festival of the Mother? It's the best time of year. The weather is turning warm. You can go out and have picnics and play some bingo. Play bingo or pull tabs or sandbags, with sandbag toss through the board with a hole in it. Yeah, it's that time of year. It's time for Heavenly Mother's Day. Heavenly Mother's Day. And it's the beginning of the Festival of the Mother. Now, for the Festival of the Mother, I have some sad news for you. Very sad news. Reportedly, Naomi Judd has committed suicide. And I don't know if I believe that she committed suicide. Could have been murder. Could have been murder. She might have been murdered. And I don't know if I believe that she committed suicide. Might be murder. But they found her dead at any rate. And she's dead. So Naomi Judd is dead. And it was one day before she was going to be inducted into the Country Hall of Fame, so it had something to do with it. Somebody either knew that she was about to be inducted into the Country Hall of Fame and decided to become famous by killing her, or she didn't feel she was worthy of the honor and committed suicide. That's a possibility too. We don't know what happened. But we do know that Naomi Judd was a mother and that she was a very good mother. She was very devout in her chosen religion, and she was a good woman. Naomi Judd was a good woman. And we're all sad for her loss. We're very sad for the loss of Naomi Judd. What does this have to do with the Mother Goddess? Because the Mother Goddess is the mother of us all. Are there times when the Mother Goddess feels weakened, when she feels unworthy or not quite up to the task? Sometimes, and her feelings are reflected in us because we're a part of her. We're a part of the Mother Goddess. We're an integral part. Her children are an integral part of her, the Mother Goddess. So because we're an integral part of the Mother Goddess, we sometimes feel feelings like she does. She gets moods too. The Mother Goddess has many moods. Sometimes maybe she feels down on herself and unworthy also. So take heart. Take heart. The goddess herself has these feelings, so it isn't unusual for humans to have these feelings as well. She created everything that is, including feelings. And so if she created feelings, then um, we're all subject to the same feelings that the goddess has. We're all subject to her feelings and to her moods. We move with goddess. Within goddess, we move within goddess, and we feel her moods, and we feel her emotions, just like an unborn baby in its mother's womb feels the feelings of its mother and absorbs those feelings into itself, takes those feelings into itself. And sometimes that manifests later in life when the baby is born, and later in life when they become adults. Sometimes the mental illness spreads to the children. If the mother was moody when she was pregnant, the child can be moody as well later on in life because the child was inside the mother and absorbed her feelings, her thoughts became incorporated into the child's mind. See, when you have feelings, your brain releases chemicals, and the chemicals go all through your bloodstream and affect your whole body. That's sort of the premise behind psychosomatic illness. And it can affect a growing fetus in the womb. The fetus in the womb can be affected by the feelings of the mother, whether negative or positive, and the baby absorbs some of those feelings and it affects it later in life. So in the same way that the fetus in the womb is affected by the feelings of its mother, so too we move within Mother Goddess and feel her feelings, and sometimes her feelings and her thoughts manifest in us later in life. So Naomi Judd, both a mother and a daughter, don't forget she's a daughter, and as a mother, she was a good mother. As a daughter, she may have absorbed some of the negative thoughts, the dark side of the Mother Goddess. Because we can't forget that Maleficent is a part of the goddess too. She has very dark thoughts and feelings sometimes. Maleficent does. And when Maleficent passes on these negative thoughts and feelings to her children, it can manifest in our lives. Maleficent can manifest in our lives. And I know that Naomi Judd was suffering from depression, and that it affected her life in many ways. She didn't even practice basic hygiene according to herself when she was in these depressed moods, and never left the house and stayed inside and didn't wash. she was depressed, but did she kill herself? Not necessarily. She could have been murdered. And so we don't know what happened to Naomi Judd. We don't know. It's a mystery. And it probably will remain a mystery from now on, what happened to Naomi Judd. Because murderers covered their tracks very cleverly. And very sorry for the loss of Naomi Judd. She's with Goddess now. She's with Goddess and enjoying the Goddess's company. And her children left behind and also may be suffering from depression. Don't know, but it is possible. It's very likely possible that Winona and Ashley Judd are also depressed, especially since their mother died. That would be very depressing. But Winona was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame also. Other news, Dolly Parton was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, country singer gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She said that she wasn't worthy of the honor, and she tried to deny it and deny it and deny it. And they said, we're going to induct you anyway, whether you like it or not. And she was like, okay, I'll gracefully accept the honor. She finally accepted the honor. Now, Dolly Parton sadly never became a mother. She's not a mother. She has no children. However, even though Dolly Parton has no children and is not a mother, she has a charity. I think it's called Imagination Library. Imagination Library. And she's donated 100 million books to school-age children and babies and toddlers and young children too. 100 million books for the children. That's a lot of books. And they're good books. They're good books. Now, I know Roe v. Wade is in the news. And I'm undecided how I feel about this. I really am. I'm sort of riding the fence. I'm undecided. Because, you know, any loss of a human life is tragic. Any loss of human life is a tragedy. And I personally wouldn't want to get an abortion. Can injure the uterus so that a person isn't even able to bear children anymore sometimes. Sometimes there's an accident. I don't know how often it is that there's an accident. The person becomes unable to bear children after they have a botched abortion. That does happen. But on the other hand, do we want to force, even if I don't want an abortion personally, do we want to force rape victims to bear the children of their attackers? It's barbarity all around. And so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Now that Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned, I don't know how I feel about that. And because mothers should want to bring their children into the world. They should want to, but if they don't want to, should they bring children into the world? I don't think they should bring unwanted children into the world, because that child, now they say, well, someone would be willing to adopt them, but there's lots and lots of children out there waiting to be adopted that never got adopted. And there aren't enough foster care families for them all. Foster care is a terrible place to be anyway. And so we have to really think about this. We do. We have to think about the problem of being an unwanted child and knowing from a very early age that you're unwanted and uncared for. That's sad. That's sad to be given up at birth. Some of these children look for their mothers later on, and when their mothers reject them, they commit suicide, just like Naomi Judd. And so, do we want to bring children into the world if they're unwanted and unloved and unneeded? It's a tough call. I don't think, but on the other hand, it may be their karma. They may be in a karmic situation where they have to be born unwanted and unloved, because maybe they were rejecting of a child, and the child was unwanted and unloved by them in another life, and that's their karmic path. So who's to say that we shouldn't allow them to live out their karma and to pay their debts, to pay their karmic dues? It's a tough call. It's a really tough situation. And there's going to be a lot fewer abortions because people are going to not want to travel, not want to inconvenience themselves, and maybe they have children of their own and they'll just give that child up and go ahead and have the child and give that child up because they don't want to care for a child that's their attacker's child. And not all abortions are the result of rape. There's also mothers that just had a child with their partner and just don't even feel like taking care of the child and don't have enough money for. They think they can't afford the child, and so they get an abortion, and that's tough too. That's a really, really tough situation. It's never a good thing. Nothing good ever comes of an unwanted pregnancy. Nothing good. Whether it ends in abortion or not, nothing good comes of it. So when you're stuck in a situation where nothing good comes of a situation, what do you do? What do you do? It's sad, the ending of a human life, but if it's early enough, if it's an early enough stage, there's no suffering of the fetus. There's no suffering if it's an early enough stage. In fact, like the morning after pill, the not the fetus, but the single-celled organism gets expelled from the womb with a Plan B morning after pill. And that might be the best solution for certain people if they know that they've had unprotected sex and they weren't planning on having a child. They could get that morning after pill the next day and never have to worry about an abortion. But that pill is hard to get because there's people who believe that that single cell is a human being and deserves to live and deserves to grow. And they won't prescribe the Plan B morning after pill, so there's no way they can get a hold of it in time. There's no way they can get a hold of it in time because they live in a red state. And that's sad. That's just sad to deny a person a morning after pill because you believe that a single-celled organism is a human being. It's not. It's not. But when the fetus has developed, it's got heart, beating heart, and it's got eyes, and there's a soul attached to it that wants to be born. It is a sad ending of a life, and it's a hard thing. Abortion is a hard thing. There's people who have made up their minds about it, just so like this karate chop that they're on one side. They're on one side of the issue, and they are totally gung-ho on that one side of the issue and refuse to bend or see another perspective. I can see both perspectives. I look at the whole thing. The whole thing is just a steaming mess. And I don't have to know. I don't have to know whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or evil. I don't have to know. I don't have to make up my mind and make up a decision on that if I don't know. Because it may well depend on the situation. Every situation is different. Every situation is different, so we don't know. See, you don't know whether or not it was good or evil or both. It could be both good and evil at the same time. Could be some good that comes of it, and there could be bad that comes of it. And both good and evil could coexist at the same time. So we don't know. We don't know whether it's right or wrong. Who's to judge? Who's to make the decision for the woman and for the child and say, this is what you should do, this is how you should be? It's just giving up another freedom. Giving up another freedom. Like, some people feel that because abortion is available, that they have to take advantage of it. And that's not so. It's always a choice. It's always a choice of the mother to choose whether to have the child or not. They always get to choose. It's sad. It's very sad, and abortion is a sad thing. And it's ugly. But who's to say that it's totally wrong or that it's totally right? You just can't make a statement like that because it's not true. It's not true. It's a happening. It's something that happens. And if the mother wants it, she'll find a way to get it, no matter whether she has to go to a foreign country or not for it. She'll find a way. She'll find a way. The mother will find a way if she wants an abortion. So we can't say that we're going to stand in judgment of these women and that we're going to judge a mother for choosing not to bring a child into the world. We're not going to stand in judgment of her because maybe we don't know the situation. The situation could be bad enough that it warrants her choice. But on the other hand, the ending of a human life is a very sad thing. And I'm not going to say that a fetus isn't human. I'm not going to say that because obviously there's a human soul attached to the fetus that wants to be born. And we can't say when the soul actually enters the fetus. And like, partial birth abortions are obviously wrong. When the child is that well developed, then the child experiences the experience of death. It experiences the death, and then in that case it would definitely be murder. But when the child is at a early enough stage, it doesn't have even the brain or the nerve endings to experience pain and death. Some people think that it does. Some people think that it doesn't. It's very hard to know what a fetus feels. But if it's early enough stage, like Plan B pill, the morning after, it definitely doesn't feel pain then. And then there's somewhere where it's just sort of in between that we're not sure. We're not sure. Probably once the mother has missed her period and knows that she's pregnant, the child doesn't necessarily feel any pain at that stage. But after 3 months, probably the child feels some pain. Probably. So it is a very difficult subject. It's complex. And some people like to boil it down to a chant. Yeah, 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 yeah. On their megaphones. Their megaphones shouting, shouting, shouting. On their megaphones. And shouting slogans. Our body, our choice. Our body, our choice. You are committing murder. You are committing murder. And these slogans, they go around, and people shout them, and they shout in each other's faces, and they're confrontational. And it's sister against sister. It's people who are related, divided down the middle, and they take a side. They take a side. I can't take a side because I know that the situation is too complex for me to judge. But I would take the side of choice only because it's freedom, right? It's a freedom, and people should be free to make mistakes and to choose the wrong way, even if there's consequences. That we should allow people to make mistakes and allow people to make choices. It might be for the best. Might be some good that comes of it. Just try to admit to yourself that there could be some good outcomes from an abortion. There could be good outcomes because the child never has to enter a birth channel where it's unwanted and unneeded and uncared for. And the mother doesn't have to bear her attacker's child into the world and doesn't have to risk her life and the final stages of pregnancy to bring that attacker's child into the world and have it be unwanted and uncared for and unneeded. So there is some good that comes of it, even if it's really sad. So, this Heavenly Mother's Day, honor the goddess that made us such complex and difficult creatures. So complex and so difficult. She made us this way. She made us complex and difficult creatures. We're the higher intelligences. The animals don't have to worry about this. They bear children and raise their young without even thinking about it. They just do it by instinct. And they don't have to worry about abortion because they would never abort a baby animal in nature. So you can say that it goes against the natural order, but does it? Does abortion go against the natural order when mother is when a mother is and her baby are so complex? Maybe it's a natural thing for. I mean, look, there's abortion in the Bible. They said that you can sweep up the dust from every corner of the temple, put it in some water and mix it up, feed it to a pregnant woman, and if she was unfaithful and had a baby with another man, she'll miscarry immediately. And a man can order this abortion. So the abortion is ancient. It's as ancient as the Bible. So it may be a human thing. There are a lot of things that are human things. We've got TVs, we've got cell phones, we've got computers, we've got all sorts of things that are human that may not seem natural, but are natural to human beings because we're so complex. And so abortion is one of those things that's so complex. We can't wrap our heads around it or figure it out. So if we can't wrap our heads around it, we shouldn't stand in judgment if we can't wrap our heads around it. So, Heavenly Mother's Day festivities. Don't join the protesters. Don't join them with their megaphones and their shouting slogans. It's so, so silly. Like, my mom thinks they're very immature. She can't stand people that stand on street corners and shout through megaphones. She can't stand that. And it really may be a childish self indulgence, but we allow them to do their thing. And they can protest and they can shout, they can do their thing, and we'll do ours. And our way is to be undecided and to not be able to judge the situation, and to just ride the fence. That's my way anyway. Maybe you have a very definite opinion. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section, whatever you think. It's sad. It's very sad when a woman doesn't become a mother and a human life is ended, but are they fully human yet when they're just beginning to grow and don't feel any pain? They're not fully human yet. So they're human, but they're not fully human because they haven't developed the brain that can feel the pain and the emotions. Obviously, the soul would be upset, but souls can get upset by many things, right? So is it necessarily murder? No, it's not necessarily murder, but it is an ending of a life. And we have to be cognizant that that's a very sad thing and that that's an upsetting thing, and understand the other side of the coin of people who feel that it's murder and feel that it's wrong and just want it to stop. Just want the abortions to stop. And think about it every day. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha signing off. Have a terrific Festival of the Mother. Celebrate any way you see fit, because it is a mother's holiday, and it does celebrate the mothers. Celebrate the mothers in your life, and celebrate the Mother Goddess too, who made us such complex and difficult creatures. And I'll see you next time.